your first name?
Yeah, my Jim.
And you live in Pensacola?
Yes.
All right. How long you lived there?
We moved here about 8 years ago.
And moved from the East Coast, right?
Yes, upstate New York.
And what was your business in upstate New York?
I was in the hazardous materials business.
What kind of
lead-based paint removal and encapsulation, and there was a big lead program out of New York, which was all EPA and HUD certified regulation. We had regulation and rules to follow.
Now you've been down here for 8 years, and you've seen the beach before the oil.
Oh,
and you've seen it after the oil.
Oh yes.
Give me your impressions of that.
I don't know. I have no idea what kind of a timeline this is going to take to straighten this out. But I do have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of illness, a lot of sickness, and if these city fathers and the politicians don't come to terms with this stuff, they're going to create a lot more harm than good.
Now, what do you mean come to terms with it?
Well, I think we have to close the beaches. I think we're going to have to do a very serious cleanup effort that is going to sustain. Of course, the main thing is to stop the oil from gushing out of the bottom of the Gulf. But other than that, I mean, don't tell me that this water is safe to swim in. I mean, I've heard it all. And I think that our citizens have pretty much come to that same realization.
Do you think our city leaders are being honest with the public when they say we can swim on Tuesday because we didn't see any tar balls? But
I think our city leaders are self-serving. They need their jobs. They need their political influence. It has such an impact as how wonderful the money is moving in Pensacola and Pensacola Beach, and to keep all of this commercial aspect going, they're willing to sacrifice and put people at risk, and especially children. And we all know hazardous materials affect the children first. They're very susceptible, and I think they all ought to take a deep breath and sit back and look at their own grandchildren. If they're so fond of this, let their own walk around the beach.
Now down to Fort Pickens
yes.
Park, I understand.
Yes.
What'd you see down there?
You can't walk to the beach without stepping in it. It's everywhere. I mean, there's tar balls, and the high tide. It happened to be high tide when we were down there, and it's a mess. It's all over. I mean, they have probably every 50, 60 feet, they have a tent set up, and there's workers out there attempting to clean it up, but you could put 10,000 people on the beach, and I don't know what the answer is, but there has to be, some genius has to come up with some kind of a machine to pick this crap up.
Now the workers, I understand you had some knowledge about their training and so on.
Yes, the workers are supposed to have a 40-hour Haz-Mat class, which barely scratches the surface as to the toxicity situation and how you have to keep yourself. I mean, it's a crash course essentially. I mean, it's somebody who could, go to Barnes and Noble and buy a book and become, automatically a hazardous materials worker. Our training for the lead business and for mold business was much more involved. I mean, it was very intense.
I would think that as long as they've got so many people down here working on the cleanup, they maybe should have follow-up courses, do you think? Or?
Oh, I think they have to do warm-ups. I think they should have some people out there making sure that the rules are followed.
What rules are those?
Well, you have to wear protective gear. You should wear boots and your Tyvek suit. You probably ought to have a respirator on. This morning, my wife said that she could actually smell the oil, and if you really, the wind was coming off the shore quite briskly, and you could actually smell the contamination in the air. Don't tell me that we've got to come over here to Pensacola and spend our money, because we love it. We live here, and we're here doing just that this afternoon. But don't don't sell these people in Tennessee and Ohio and everywhere else a bill of goods, because it's a very unhealthy situation.
I just talked to 3 people who were here from a church group out of Texas. They said that when they went on the internet and checked the city and the county websites, they were told it was perfectly fine. The beaches were open.
Oh, well, they have to sell it. And for the sake of the almighty dollar and for the sake of their commercial success, they're willing to put people at risk. And it isn't that uncommon in this day and age. I mean, we have to face facts. I'm an old hippie type, I guess you'd call it, but I have a reverence for the people around me and those that are still breathing the air.